Yeah, people could be stranded for days if they don't get out. Meanwhile, in New York City,
they showed up in riot gear. I mean, they're wearing riot gear right now.
As one of the Gaza war protesters at NYU, where the university has requested police clear them out.
It's chaotic. It was too much. It was aggressive. It was overly aggressive.
At least 20 arrests there this morning at NYU. Campus chaos here in Middle Tennessee. Spring Hill High School classes canceled today. The Murray County Sheriff's Office is investigating. The school district says they canceled classes due to vandalism overnight. Students and staff are to stay away today. And we got to check back with Jim Ryan real quick. The latest job numbers may nudge the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates sooner rather than later.
Economists surveyed by Dow Jones were expecting 240,000 jobs to be generated last month. The actual number came in at 175,000, with the unemployment rate creeping up slightly to 3.9%. Some analysts think the Fed may rethink its decision to leave interest rates where they've been since last July.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
.908 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. This feels right, doesn't it? You know, being here at 9 a.m., not noon to 3. It feels like everything's back where it should be. Right?
Back to normal.
There we go. Friday. Are you excited?
Woo!
This is going to be an insane weekend in Nashville. I was talking to Ken. Morgan Wallen has some concerts. We got graduations, Preds. There's going to be a lot of people in this city over the weekend. Should be fun. We also have an agenda-free Friday on the show. So anything you want to talk about, we can talk about at 615-737-9986. You know, the way the news cycle's been moving, we've absolutely missed some things or just not had time to cover it. So if there's something that you've wanted to talk about, we can talk about it. Also today on the show, I'm very excited about this in terms of Agenda Free Friday, because how often do I get financial questions that I just can't answer? A lot. When we have people that call in about the gold standard, fiat currency, the Federal Reserve, BRICS nations, the petrodollar, all these things. And sometimes I just don't have an answer. I'm not as financially literate in these areas as I wish I would be. But I do know people. I do have some good friends that understand these things. So Paul Winkler, who we talk about all the time, is going to join us at 11:35, and he's going to be answering any of your wild financial questions you may have. We'll open up the phone lines. We'll talk BRICS nations. We'll talk Federal Reserve, gold standard, all the fun things. Anything that you've ever wanted to ask a finance guy. Is a collapse imminent? All the questions. Paul will be here, and he's looking forward to answering those. Also, there's a musician coming in at 11 a.m. He goes by the name Taylor Goyette. I've liked a lot of his stuff on Instagram at Taylor Goyette Music. He has this one song called "The Show Goes On," and it's very political. And he says, when you play your political song for friends with opposing views, it's the first post I ever saw of his that kind of piqued my interest, because his friends in the car, as he's playing him this new song, their facial expression changes. And I love his style of music. So he's going to come in, he's going to play a couple songs. He's going to talk about, how difficult it is to break into the music industry with those kind of views, how people take those songs when he's on the road. He does a lot of traveling. He's going to play a few songs for us. I think you're going to really enjoy that as well. In the meantime, anything you want to talk about, 615-737-9986. Malika, welcome to the show, Malika. How are you?
Thank you for taking my call. Happy Friday. Go Preds. And you were just talking about that musician. I want to say country music is the greatest music on this planet. It is ridiculous when people complain, when Democrats complain about country singers singing about real life and just what goes on. So I can't wait to hear this musician, and Democrats need to stop complaining when whatever country singer or whoever it is, just that, they sing about something the Democrats don't agree with. Well, it's not fair. It's a free country.
Don't hang up. Don't hang up, Malika. I have one more question for you.
All right. You got it.
Is Beyonce country music?
I listened to her album. I would say, just because she's a big legend, I would say she's trying. I'm 50-50 on her. That's all I'm going to say. There should not be music genres, I know. But if people get mad just because somebody sings about one political side and they don't like it, it's not fair. This is a free country, and this ridiculousness needs to stop, especially with the Jason Aldean song. And I love Jason Aldean music, and it's just so ridiculous. So this needs to stop. Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate you, Malika. Have a great weekend.
You as well.
All right. Let's go to Robert in Lebanon. Robert, what's up, man?
I'm good. I just wanted to talk to you off air, though.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll put you on hold then. Hang tight. I'll come to you after the break. I didn't know that he wanted to talk off air.
Yeah, me either.
Huh. Let's go to Brent in Spring Hill. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, Brent?
So I'm calling in about your monkey story.
Yes.
I know about those monkeys because I lived in Florida a long time. There's a place in Ocala, right, which is right outside of Orlando, that there's an island called Silver Springs in the middle of a river where this rich guy from the 1920s put all these like rhesus monkeys.
Hang on 1 second, Brent. Before you dive in, let me just reset. On the Gang of Four Amigos a little while ago on Nashville's Morning News, there's a story that there's been monkey sightings all over Florida, loose, wild monkeys. All right, keep going. Sorry, I just wanted to reset for anybody that didn't hear.
No, absolutely. So they've escaped off that island. But the crazy thing is, and I sent you a thing in the text, a link to the story. They have brain herpes, not just herpes, brain herpes, and they can give it to you if they like scratch you or bite you or something.
What?
So it's like monkey apocalypse.
So how did they get off this island? How far away is this island from Florida? I didn't hear that they had brain herpes.
No. It's like in middle of a river. It's really not that far. They have like trails and stuff, and you go and you see like monkeys sitting in trees, and you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of wild. Seeing a monkey island in Florida, but no, they can swim,
and they have they have brain herpes. What's the difference between brain herpes and regular herpes, and what would that do to people?
I don't know. I have the kind that can give you a blister on your lip, and I wouldn't want it in my brain.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I understand that. Appreciate it, Brent. Yeah. They say not to approach these monkeys and offer food. And if a monkey is encountered, keep kids close and pets leashed. What would you do if you saw a wild monkey and were uncertain if it had brain herpes or not?
Yeah, he said it was Colonel Tooley.
Colonel Tooley,
who, I don't know, made these monkeys. I don't know. They learned how to swim. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't trust any swimming monkey.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I don't do that.
I've seen Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, we don't need
riding
that.
horses, swimming.
Did you see Biden gave another speech yesterday in North Carolina? He did. And it's just every time this guy talks, I'm just so frustrated. The context, Biden goes to North Carolina. Sorry, the contrast. Biden goes to North Carolina and he tries to give a speech, right? He's got 15 people. At the same time, Donald Trump is stuck in New York City for his court, and Donald Trump goes and delivers pizzas to the New York City firefighters. It's amazing. Biden is trying to campaign. He can't draw a crowd. They're also actively trying to make sure Trump can't campaign. And so Trump sees that, and he says, you know what? I understand how to work social media. I will use my New York time to campaign for the whole country. And I'll go visit firefighters, construction workers, and bodegas, and I'll use this time to my advantage. And he does just that because maybe he can't go to swing states on court days, right? But he can go drop off pizzas at New York City firefighters, for New York City firefighters. And that video goes viral. And firefighters all around the country see it. Their families see it. He's in the weeds with the regular people. Joe Biden is not in the weeds with regular people. In fact, he's in North Carolina, can barely draw a crowd, and he gets on stage and says this.
Well, crime rates are down nationally.
Oh.
We've invested a record amount in public safety, violence interruption. We've also done much work to make communities safer.
Crime rates are down. Let me ask you something. Is crime down in any major city? With the wide open southern border and what we're seeing, is crime down? I don't even think you need to look at statistics. You just need to look at the headlines and use your eyes. Crime is not down. And in places like Baltimore, which I know it's Baltimore, but it's just true in every major city. Crime is way up.
Yeah, we're talking about some of the city's most popular neighborhoods, from Federal Hill to Fells Point to Canton. Crime is up. Those numbers coming right here from the Baltimore Police Department as part of a uniform crime report that they submit to the federal government every year. So we want to give you a look at some of those results. We're going to put them right here on your screen. According to the report, out of 278 neighborhoods in Baltimore City, crime is up in almost every statistical category by nearly 80%. In Federal Hill, there was a 13% increase in violent crime, a 36% increase in property crime, and like so many neighborhoods throughout Baltimore, a staggering increase in auto thefts at 196%.
So I know that Biden goes on stage, he says crime is down. But it's like, no. And in cities like Baltimore, it's getting far, far worse. They sent that report to the federal government. Crime is up everywhere, 80%. This is every major city. And then he says, crime rates are down. We're doing all these things. All right. You haven't secured the southern border. And we see crime from illegal aliens every single day. Like this one, an illegal alien kicking in a door of a Texas neighbor, because the Texas neighbor asked him to quiet down.
We have the latest now in a developing story from overnight. A shooting overnight involving a migrant couple and a next-door neighbor who interrupted a fight. This happened in an apartment complex on Vance Jackson. Now 2 people are in the hospital this morning. Police say just before 10 o'clock last night, a migrant couple were arguing in an apartment on Vance Jackson near Fredericksburg Road. Investigators say the neighbor told the couple to calm down and then left. That's when the migrant man went to the neighbor's apartment and put a gun to his head, threatening to kill him. The neighbor then shot the suspect in the hand and foot, and a woman in her 20s who was a bystander was accidentally hit in the leg. Both the migrant man and the woman who was hit accidentally were taken to University Hospital.
So, you see crime like this every single day. We could spend the entire show on crime from big cities and crime via the southern border. But Joe Biden says crime is down in North Carolina. He is so disconnected from regular people, but he tries to tell regular people that he's doing a great job, especially when it comes to jobs.
And guess what? The plan we put in place is beginning to work. We've created a record 15 million jobs since I came to office. The president has 15 million.
15 million, he says. We've created 15 million jobs. Sure, they're just jobs coming back after the pandemic, but don't let the truth get in the way of a good narrative. He also tells us that he's cut the federal deficit.
We cut the federal deficit by failing to make the very wealthy and big corporations begin to pay their fair share.
No, we've made them pay their fair share. Okay. How much are we in debt? How much are we in debt? Isn't that just such a weird flex? First of all, he's lying. He's lying. He hasn't cut the federal deficit at all. And when he says, we've done this, we're $34 trillion in debt. I don't even want to hear about the federal deficit. I want to hear about the national debt. How much have you taken off that? But he tries to say, Trump's only given tax cuts for the super wealthy. And this is another thing he said. Trump's only given tax cuts for the super wealthy.
At the same time, he and his mega allies in Congress were happy to give the very super rich a $2 trillion tax cut in his administration. $2 trillion. The benefit of the super wealthy and the biggest corporations.
It benefited every American. I'll raise my hand. The tax cuts benefited me as a father, middle-class man. The tax cuts benefited me tremendously under Trump. It benefited everybody. You don't have to be a financial expert to understand how those tax cuts work. But Joe Biden says all these things. We've made 15 million jobs. We've cut the federal deficit. Trump only gave tax cuts to the super wealthy, but then he ignores the reality of his economy. You can't buy a home in this economy.
Home buyers beware. Mortgages are getting more expensive. One day after the Fed left interest rates unchanged, the average rate on a 30-year mortgage jumped to more than 7.2%.
7.2%. Can't buy a home. Heck, you can't even afford summer camp for your kids.
Jamie Adursky, the countdown to summer is far different than for her kids, ages 4 and 8.
These kind of juices for moms.
The New Jersey copywriter depends on camp for childcare each summer.
Wait, what?
And made this popular TikTok.
Oh, how much is camp? Oh, that's $5,000.
$5,000 for camp. Who can afford $5,000 for summer camp? And let's be honest, people can't even afford food in this economy. We've seen that everywhere. I don't know about you, but have you seen the food bank lines growing longer and longer in your town? Because I've seen them growing longer and longer in my town. People can't even afford food. Joe Biden gets up there in North Carolina and he says, 15 million jobs, cut the federal deficit. Trump only gave tax cuts to the rich. But the reality in the Joe Biden economy is that we have a hunger problem.
Advocates say there is a growing hunger problem in Pennsylvania. Anti-hunger resources say rising food prices and increased demand are straining the state's charitable food network. PA food banks distributed close to 23 million pounds of food to nearly 3 million people last month, and that's some of the highest volume since April of 2020. Hunger Free Pennsylvania and Feeding Pennsylvania are now seeking more than $30 million in state funding.
I mean, they need more money because everybody's hungry and they can't afford the food. So Joe Biden can get up there in North Carolina and say, look, crime rates are down. They're not. He can say jobs. We got 15 million jobs. You didn't. They came back after COVID. He can say we cut the federal deficit. We're $34 trillion in debt. Nobody cares. He can say Trump only cut taxes for the super wealthy. He's like, bro, we can't afford food, houses, or summer camp for our kids. Miss me with your talking points. It's 924 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Is that the Lindsay? Why does she want to talk about the Covenant shooting? I just want more is like, dude, what are we talking about this about for? Like, just like, it don't fit. It doesn't fit.
All right, got the right entrance lane blocked. That's going to be to BNA. It's going to be 40 westbound past Donaldson Pike. Another campus crackdown, some campus chaos here in Middle Tennessee, and some money news about jobs at 9:30 on Supertalk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is 9:29 on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. I'll be real quick. So, Joe Biden said crime rates are down in North Carolina.
At the same time, he and his mega allies in Congress.
Oh, wrong one. Sorry. That's me not being on top of things. This is it right here.
Well, crime rates are down nationally.
Crime rates are down nationally. He said that in North Carolina yesterday. Somebody on the members nutrition text line just sent me this. 4612. We're crowdsourcing the research. North Carolina's crime rate has increased in recent years with a murder rate of 9.6 per 100,000 in 21, which is more than 50% higher than the pre-2020 average. Okay. So does that still count?
Well, crime rates are down nationally.
Oh, weird. So Joe Biden goes to North Carolina and he's trying to win over these voters. North Carolina is definitely in question when it comes to the general. What do you think? Do you think he won over the North Carolina voters? I don't know. Let's check in with North Carolina voters.
Nothing short of an absolute disaster.
Oh, okay.
I think we're going backwards, and I think we need a lot of help quickly.
What do you make of the 4 years of the Trump administration?
Well, he got a lot of criticism for his words, for the things he did to provoke conversations. But I cannot think of a single policy of the Trump administration that I disagree with.
I think it was a massive success because for the first time in a long time, I think it felt like we had someone who understood how to negotiate and run a business.
9:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, got a crash going westbound near the airport. It is blocking the right entrance lane there to BNA, just past Donaldson Pike. Campus protests continuing coverage. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona says the feds are investigating more than 100 complaints about anti-Semitism and other forms of discrimination in a letter to college and university presidents. Meanwhile, in New York City, NYU requested police clear out protesters this morning. 20 arrests were made. Here in Tennessee, Murray County schools canceled classes at Spring Hill High School because of vandalism overnight. Deputies are investigating. And U.S. employers adding 175,000 jobs for the month of April. This according to the latest report from the Labor Department. That's below what economists expected. Jobs were mostly added in healthcare, social assistance, transportation, and warehousing. Now some analysts think the Fed may rethink its decision to leave interest rates where they've been since last July. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
My mistake. I'm not even looking at you. All right, we're just going to skip it. Sorry, dude. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't ready. Turn the fucking music off. I'm just kidding. I don't care. Marshall. Tell him to call back during Paul Winkler at 11:35. Dan texted me at 9:24 and wrote, boom, with 5 exclamation points. That break where I went into Biden's speech, I was like, crime rates are up. We can't afford anything. We can't afford summer camp houses or food. Roasted. Have you seen food bank lines? Do you notice that around where you are? Dude, I see them so that, maybe I'm a little bit different of a view because the church across my street does it. So, I've just seen the line get longer and longer and longer. .936 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. And I love you guys. We always have Mac producing. We always have Ken in the newsroom. But you guys on the Members Nutrition text line are the biggest part of the show. Statman just texted in. He sent me a list of Biden accomplishments. Do you want to read the Biden accomplishments?
You want me to do the honors?
No. I meant, it was rhetorical.
Oh, yeah.
You can. Do you want to?
No, you've got this, please.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, this is all you.
But it's a good list.
It's a good list.
I'm happy to let you.
I'll give it to you.
Okay. Heck of a list. You ready for the Biden accomplishments? And I'm sure we can crowdsource more. I'm sure we can crowdsource more. All right. From Statman on the Members Nutrition text line. Here's the list of true Biden accomplishments. An eviction moratorium. That was a good one. Vaccine mandates, canceling student loans, an Orwellian board, the disinformation board, destroying American energy, massive land grabs, naming parents domestic terrorists, targeting pro-life demonstrators, colluding with big tech to censor citizens, forcing transgenderism in schools, destroying women, and lawfare with Trump. I feel like there's more accomplishments than that. Did he even mention Afghanistan? Did he mention Ukraine? Did he mention giving Iran billions to fund the October 7th attack? Funding two sides of the war. There's so much. I like his the Orwellian disinformation board. It's interesting. My friend Aaron just sent me this on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. You can always send me stories at Chris Hand on Air on Twitter. Censor files from Mario Knopfel. Amazon removed more than 10,000 book titles for the Biden administration. Following increasing demands for misinformation to be curbed on the Amazon bookstore, Amazon wrote an email to the White House in March 2021 to inform them that they removed more than 10,000 books on COVID and tagged millions of products for demotion. This is Joe Biden's accomplishments. Everybody's adding in. Firing unvaccinated soldiers, says 2660. It's amazing. Joe Biden forced an ineffective vaccine that didn't stop the spread or stop you from getting COVID on our military, fired 7,000 soldiers, and let in 10 million plus illegal aliens, unvetted, unvaccinated. No big deal, right? The way the Biden administration has treated our military has been disastrous. Downright criminal. Downright criminal. It's been awful. But he says that he's got a lot of accomplishments. The distinguished gentleman in Lebanon, Calvin, wants to talk about Biden's failures. What's up, Calvin?
Hey, Chris.
How are you, sir?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, man.
Thank you. I just want to say, if Biden created 15 million jobs, the first 8 million went to the illegals because, they come first.
Yes, sir.
We got to get them votes. And there's two things they bank on when they open their mouth, and that is the American people are stupid, and we just we believe what they say because we're just stupid and dumb. And I just tell you, if we vote them in, we're exactly that. We're stupid. We're blind to the truth, and we're dumb, and we give them exactly what they want. So that's all I had to say.
Hey, I'm with you, Calvin, and I appreciate the call, man. It's amazing. You see the difference between Trump and Biden. There's a new poll out from YouGov and The Economist. They published it on Wednesday. They asked respondents to classify Trump and Biden's leadership qualities, and a majority of Americans see Donald Trump as a strong leader, while most see Joe Biden as a weak leader, according to this poll. 58% of all adult respondents say Trump is a strong leader. 35% said very strong. You look at it with Biden, 64% view Biden as a weak leader. That's a 4-point increase from the March poll that they did on this. This poll was taken from April 28th to April 30th. What was going on then? Oh, yeah. That's when the protests were really kicking into high gear. Joe Biden goes on TV yesterday. He does a marathon of a speech, a whopping 3.5 minutes, and he yells at Trump and says, he didn't call him out by name, but he says some people are trying to rush to these things for political points. I would argue Joe Biden's been avoiding this thing for political points because it's his radical leftist base that are doing the protesting. He can't speak out against them. He wants to win Michigan. He's not going to win Michigan. Spoiler alert. But he accused Trump of using this for political points. And at the same time, Joe Biden can't get out of his own way. Did you hear what he did yesterday? He declared Japan xenophobic. Japan is xenophobic. It's terrifying. Is this a strong leader? A guy that goes out and bashes our allies? Completely bashes our allies? How long has Japan been an ally of ours? You know what I really think this is about? I think he's mad at Japan because the Prime Minister of Japan went to Trump Tower while Trump was on trial. I think that this is what that's about. I think he's upset. He was delivering remarks at a campaign fundraiser in Washington to mark the beginning of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month, which is it's all month long. You've probably seen the new box on Netflix, so you can get your fix of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month movies. That's how I know what month it is. You get the special box on Amazon Prime or Netflix or any of your streaming devices. Like, hey, it's AAPI month. So he's giving this speech and he says, we're strong because we welcome immigrants and Japan is xenophobic. So you're just trashing an ally. I swear he has to be upset because the Prime Minister of Japan went and visited with Trump. That's what this is about. Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about Joe Biden's xenophobic comments as they're flying on Air Force One to North Carolina yesterday. And she did what she did. She put on her tap shoes and she danced around it as best she could.
The word xenophobic is a very pejorative and negative word, particularly to use against an ally. Is that what he meant?
Look, the president was very clear, and I think...
He wasn't very clear. I mean, that's why we're asking you.
She said, I think he was, he was very clear. Well, no, Miss Press Secretary, he wasn't clear, and that's why we're asking for clarification.
Well, look, here's what I'm saying. He was talking about who we are as a country, right? He was talking about the importance about being in a country of immigrants, especially as you see the attacks that we have seen very recently in the last couple of years on those attacks on immigrants in particular.
Did you hear that? He was talking about being a nation of immigrants as we have seen those attacks over the past couple of years.
Being in a country of immigrants, especially as you see the attacks that we have seen very recently in the last couple of years on those attacks on immigrants in particular. And so it is important for us to remember that we are a country of immigrants. I'm explaining what he was talking about and how he was what he was focusing on in those comments. Country of immigrants, it makes us stronger. It is important to be very clear about that. And the president's always going to be really clear on speaking to issues that matter to the American people.
No, the president's always going to be very clear on issues that matter to the American people. It's amazing. I honestly think that this is a petty bit of anger coming from the president, and I think it goes directly back to the prime minister visiting Trump at Trump Tower, the prime minister of Japan. Also, listen, Japan is a Japanese nation, right? Like that. They take care of their people. Let them do their thing. They don't have to be a nation of immigrants. Does he attack any other country for not being a nation of immigrants? Does every country need to be a nation of immigrants? And while you can tout the benefits of being a nation of immigrants, I think that we need to focus on our own problems here at home before we call our allies xenophobic. Japan is so safe that you can send young children, 5, 6, 7, on the subway alone, to go to school, to go to the store, to go places. You can even put a white hat on the kids, and it signals to other adults that, hey, this kid might need a little help going where they need to get, or getting where they need to go. And that nation is so safe, they look out for each other so much that the kid will get there. Could you imagine letting a 5, 6, or 7-year-old ride on the New York City subway alone? What about the San Francisco subway? It just blows my mind that you're going to go on the record at a campaign fundraiser and trash an ally who, I mean, you can look at it. It's a much safer country. You're going to trash them because they're not a nation of immigrants. It's just ridiculous. We have enough problems. Why are we attacking our allies? But this is Joe Biden, right? Let's not focus on our failures. Let's point the finger elsewhere. This is what he does. Higgins in Fairview, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Higgins?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, man. How are you?
Oh, you know me, man. Hanging in there, brother. I just wanted to give a quick comment, man. You know, Jean-Pierre is, at least she's consistent. She comes on every time, and she's very clear about Biden being very clear.
This is true.
And I think he has been very clear. He's been very clear about being an old, senile bag of useless hammers.
I think you're right.
Have a blessed day, guys.
Hey, man, you
sorry,
too.
Go ahead.
No, you too. You take it easy, brother. I'm with you. I appreciate it.
All right.
That's Higgins in Fairview.
Yeah, Higgins didn't give us the full picture. You know, you said, how you doing? He said, hanging in there. I asked him that. He said, you know, Mac, hanging in there like a hair and cream corn.
Oh.
See, he didn't give us that. I wish he would have given us that.
Like a hair and cream corn?
Like a hair and cream corn. That'll hang in there.
It's quite the visual.
Yeah, he's good at that.
It's quite the visual. Like, he didn't need to say it.
No, but that's the beauty of radio. You know?
I picture the hair being curly.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's something, he didn't have to say that. Thanks for clearing that up, Mac. Daryl in Goodlettsville has an idea for Trump. What's up, Daryl?
Man, how was your day?
Good, man. I can't complain.
I want to keep this really simple, cut and dry and quick. I know I'm on the air, but, man, I don't understand why Trump or the people that are handling his stuff, Trump wouldn't just run, and don't get me wrong, you could run a 10-minute commercial on all the screw-ups. Just run a simple commercial about Afghanistan, about the 7,000 troops, about the 10 million coming in unvaccinated, the transgenderism in schools, which is, I think, less than 2% of people want that. Inflation, it's absolutely crazy. It's kind of like Biden or his handlers, let me say it that way, are trying to get him not reelected. It really bothers me that this is going on because I think, again, they've got something up their sleeve. I'm not jumping down the conspiracy rabbit hole, none of that. I'm just saying that it's so overwhelming right now what he's doing. And he's intentionally trying to screw up this great nation. I don't understand why he just won't run a commercial. And, again, it could be a 30-minute commercial, I believe, with all the screw-ups and probably run out of time. Does that not sound like a good idea to you? I'm going to listen. I'm going to hang up. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's running these commercials, but I think he's running them where he needs to run them. Like, we're probably not seeing as much of the ads as he's running because we're in Tennessee, and this is pretty safe Trump country as we go towards the general election. And I say that as a guy that I visit, bluer states. I got family in Virginia. We go to North Carolina. I was just in Arizona. And I'll tell you what, the political ads in those states are at a much higher frequency than they are here in Tennessee. And I think you'd probably see the same thing on the flip side in a state like New York or a state like California. You're probably not going to see as much Biden ads because those are pretty safe blue. They're focusing a lot of those advertising dollars in the states that are up for grabs, if you will. I bet you'd find a lot more Trump ads in Michigan. You're going to find a lot more Trump ads in North Carolina, in Arizona, and the same to be true about Joe Biden ads. That's where they're going to focus their advertising dollars. I think those commercials are out there. You can find them on social media. But good call and good point. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. I've had the guys at Busy Bee out to my house a couple times. Joe Henry is my boy. He comes through. He does what needs to be done, no matter how long it takes. I never get charged with overtime fees because I am a Beehive member. They have some great specials going on throughout May, by the way, in case you need to get some things done. If you need to replace your AC system, now is the time to do it. They have special financing through May, up to 12 months with no interest, no payment with approved credit, and you can get free air duct cleaning, fogging, and UV light home treatment with the purchase of a new Select unit. Clean out those air ducts. Plus, if you need help with plumbing, you can get $500 off Select tankless water heaters, $500 off upright Essency water heaters. And if you need to repair that AC, they're waiving $89 dispatch trip fees on any repair or new installation. Busy Bee has you covered, and they do it all the time. Plus, when you sign up to be a member of the Beehive Club, it's going to pay for itself. Being a Beehive member costs just $99, and you'll receive the following: 3 annual tune-ups, 1 for your heating, 1 for your cooling, 1 for your plumbing, 10% discount on all repairs, priority front-of-the-line service, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000, and no overtime or holiday fees, plus exclusive Beehive member promotions. If you need your AC units worked on, call my friends at Busy Bee. They're your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling at 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. Online, busybeehvac.com. The bump out threw me off at the first break. I just went to 24. And I was like, oh, I could probably do something else. Luckily, we had a short spot block there, so it's I still had time to do it. Dude, we're already done with an hour. Was it? Hey, what's up? Hey, good. You called? Yeah, you did. Yeah, I have a missed call from you. Oh. You scared the hell out of me because I was like in the middle of a break. So I was like, oh no. Interesting. Okay, cool. I was like, oh no, I hope she's okay. Yes, he apologized to me for saying Matt Murphy needed anger management. I will. You sound so much better. Did the charcoal help? Okay, take some more. Take some more. And yeah. Don't be afraid to eat a gummy either. Yeah, but it might really help. It is. All right, girl. Well, I love you a lot. I know. I can't wait either. I am very excited. Love you guys. Love you, Millie. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Love you guys. Bye. Bye, babe. Millie, my 2-year-old, has been taking off her diaper and pooping on the floor. And it's like log form, and it just like, and it's standing up. And he's like, sorry. It's like, what are you doing? You gotta stop. It's like, no diaper, no diaper. I'm like, it's been chaos. It's been chaos. It's like one of those things where like you want to laugh and like take a picture because like it's gonna be a memory down the road, but you also don't want to encourage it because poop on the floor, poop on the floor. You know, every time it is like vertical. It's like at least she has a good diet, and it's like you know what I mean. We have to take some positives away from this. No constipation. The tract is flowing. What are we doing? This is like what I deal with. It's the craziest, bro. And like with 4 kids, it's like I have the epic overachiever in my oldest. My second, Brooks, he is a wild man. Like when I say he's a wild man, like he's jacked. Like he has a 6-pack. Like he's absolutely jacked. And like he'll do pull-ups. Like he's just exercising. He's like, look at my 1-arm push-up. He's doing like 6 1-arm push-ups in a row. Like the kid's nuts. Then my next one is a whiner. He's a whiner and he's needy. If I'm paying too much attention to Brooks or too much attention to Millie, Bishop is like all up in my ass and like whining, everything. And then my youngest is just taking off her diaper and pooping on the floor. It's like
Another campus crackdown, some campus chaos here in Middle Tennessee. Money news about jobs and mortgage rates coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So we had the KJP xenophobic comments. The White House cleaned it up, but they didn't apologize. We'll talk about that soon. Also, Trump is making a crazy appearance at a convention. Nothing that you've probably heard about yet. It's for a political party, not the Republicans, not the Democrats. We'll talk about that as well. Plus, we got some crazy stories. I feel like we have some housekeeping to do. Do you know what I mean? We've had so many stories that we haven't gotten to, and I'm going to talk about a lot of them. Like what's going on in Baton Rouge? Have you heard about the secession of Baton Rouge? It's a crazy story. We'll cover it on the way, plus anything you want to talk about. It's an agenda-free Friday on The Chris Hand Show. 615-737-9986. It's Super Talk. Have you heard about Baton Rouge, Louisiana? I feel like that's a crazy story, right?
10 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Some of this rain could linger into the weekend. We'll tell you about that during the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now, campus chaos update. NYPD made 20 arrests while clearing out Gaza war protesters at NYU this morning. Meanwhile, in our nation's capital, Karen Travers.
Education Secretary Miguel Cardona has sent a letter to college and university presidents denouncing what he calls abhorrent incidents of anti-Semitism on campuses across the U.S. as some schools continue to grapple with protests. In the letter, Cardona highlights reported activity by Jewish students, including being physically assaulted or harassed while walking on campus and finding swastikas on their dorm room doors. Cardona noted the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights has opened more than 100 investigations into complaints about anti-Semitism and other forms of discrimination.
Here in Middle Tennessee, campus chaos in Spring Hill, where high school classes are canceled today. The Maury County Sheriff's Office investigating. The Maury County School District says they canceled classes today due to vandalism overnight. Students and staff to stay away from Spring Hill High School today. Money News, Alex Christoforous on the constant increase in mortgage rates as the home selling season kicks into high gear.
This is the fifth week in a row that we've seen these mortgage rates rise to 7.22%. But at the same time, we did see inventory starting to loosen up in certain parts of the country. Some more homes finally coming on the market. And the average listing price came down a little bit, about 0.5%, still, though, above $400,000. So, again, this rise in mortgage rates sort of offsets any kind of a decline we may have seen in prices.
Yeah, right now in Nashville, News 2 publishing a report by Realtor.com that claims a $142,000 a year salary is needed to afford the median home price in Nashville. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Won't you take me back to Tennessee?
I'm going to give it away. We're going to do TikTok today.
Oh, TikTok or talk? Okay.
TALK.
Spring is here. Today we're going to talk about ticks. Bugs are coming out. Unfortunately, ticks are coming out. People are going to be out in the woods. First, the types of ticks.
American dog tick, the black-legged deer tick, the Lone Star tick. We've got a Gulf Coast tick. Got a new one coming in, the longhorn tick. These are the ones we need to watch out for. 75% of vector transmitted diseases now are from ticks. Rocky Mountain spotted fever, rickelosis, tularemia, Lyme disease, almost flu-like, gonna run a fever. You may or may not get a rash in the saliva. They secrete the cement to glue themselves in.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great.
So you need to get some tweezers, get down on that capitulum and grab it and pull the tick off. Do not grab the body. A lot of people think ticks drop out of trees. They don't drop out of trees. And they can't jump. And they can't fly.
So they're in the leaves, on the plants and things.
On the grass, the leaves of the grass. And they do this number with their front legs. And that's called questing. They are sensing a prey item coming by. They'll take those legs and latch on and then crawl up.
And then there you go. You're battling it.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
.10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. It's an agenda-free Friday. Anything you want to talk about, we can talk about at 615-737-9986. Coming up at 11:05, my friend Taylor Goyette, who is a musician, is going to come through, play a couple songs. He's got some bangers. I sent you the links.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. This is awesome,
It's going to be fun. I feel like, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, this week has been like, the news cycle has been kind of like a downer. You know what I mean?
100%.
So like we're going into the weekend. We want to switch it up a little bit, have a little fun.
Yeah, let's lighten things up.
Yeah, let's have some fun. So we will. And also, Paul Winkler is going to be in at 11:35. And I want to put Paul through the ringer.
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean? Like, well, like Paul's so smart that like I want to ask him questions that I usually text him. You know what I'm saying? Like usually it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'll be like, Paul, look at this graph. What does it mean? Should I be scared? And he'll be like, calm down. And then, so like, I think it's going to be a fun conversation. So if you have any interesting questions financially, depending on whatever it is, petrodollar, gold standard, fiat currency, Federal Reserve, Paul's going to be in here. We can have that conversation. Paul's a smart guy. He's going to be able to break it all down for us. I think it's going to be actually really, really fun and really cool. In the meantime, what stories have we missed? What stories have you not been able to weigh in on this week? What do you want to talk about? 615-737-9986. So we talked about Joe Biden declaring our ally Japan xenophobic. Karine Jean-Pierre was trying to clean it up while she was aboard Air Force One on the way to North Carolina.
About it being in a country of immigrants, especially as you see the attacks that we have seen very recently in the last couple of years on those attacks on immigrants in particular.
Is that clear? That's why. So the White House was forced to clean it up. They had to clean it up. You had to. But they didn't apologize for the comments, which is fascinating. You're just going to go out there and insult an ally, call them xenophobic, but you're not going to apologize. Very strange. Very, very strange indeed. It's been a week of weird comments from the Biden administration. On the flip side, Trump has been at court. He's also done 2 rallies, Michigan and Wisconsin, and he brought pizzas to the New York City firefighters. It's like they're trying to take away his ability to campaign, and he's just doing it anyway at a much higher success rate than Joe Biden. And there's something else that's really cool that's happening, which I was honestly shocked to see. The Libertarian Party revealed that Trump would be speaking at its national conference at the end of May. They put out a statement on Wednesday. The Libertarian Party announced that Trump is speaking at their national convention on May 25th. He accepted an invitation from the party to directly address concerns voiced by its members. This is clutch. This is going to lock up third-party independent voters for Donald Trump. And could you imagine Joe Biden doing anything like this? Would Joe Biden ever go hear the voices and the concerns from the Libertarian Party's members directly and address those directly? Of course not. Of course not. I'm actually really interested in this. What is that speech going to sound like? it's going to be a different audience than what he gets at his rallies, right? So he's going to have to switch it up a bit. Does it lock in those middle candidates? I think it might. I think it's going to be one to watch. That's May 25th, the Libertarian Party National Convention, and Trump is speaking at it. Anna in Brentwood wants to talk about Biden's speech. Anna, you're next on Super Talk. What's up?
Oh, yes, I called and held yesterday. Did you get to see that little 4-minute burp?
Oh, my gosh. Did I ever? Blink and you miss it.
Well, but brown man much? Did you notice, is he orange or was he brown? And his forehead had so much paste on it that like the frown lines around him, and it looked like he'd been shot in the head or something. Go back and look at it. I mean, if we had to look at 4 years of that, they're just going to be putting some kind of cast over his head.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. He didn't look great, Joe Biden. He looked like he was wearing a lot of makeup, like it was caked on.
Oh yes, my patient keeps the TV on to see the news, and I saw it live. It was a replay probably, but I mean his whole forehead was like squinched up, and I don't know. I've never seen him look quite that poor physically.
Why? Come on, we've seen him look pretty bad. Do you remember when he wore when he had that weird chin thing going on Air Force One?
Okay, yeah, but I tell you, you got to go back and look at the forehead. And I so wish somebody would have yelled, "Hey, orange man, I think you're more brown man now."
Yep. Hey, I appreciate your call, Anna. Thanks so much.
Okay, have a good weekend. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. You too. Joe in Donaldson wants to talk about Al Sharpton. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Chris, a couple of points. To the caller, Daniel, that wanted more Trump campaign ads.
Yep.
I see Trump campaign ads every night when I turn on the news.
Fair. I mean, if you look at what's going on in this country, it's a campaign ad. Have you been to the grocery store lately? That, to me, is a Trump campaign ad.
Exactly. My thing about Al Sharpton was, did he actually call the pro-Palestine building takers or compare them to the January 6th insurrectionists?
So when I saw you were going to talk about Al Sharpton, I actually queued up the clip. This is what he said on Morning Joe. He was talking about the Democrats' hypocrisy with these protests.
How do the Democrats, how do all of us on that side say January 6th was wrong if you can have the same pictures going on college campuses?
Good Lord, don't make a parallel with January 6th.
You lose the
some
moral
reason
high ground.
that has
happened, though.
So he's saying you lose the moral high ground because you're kind of giving a wink and a nod and a pass to those protests happening on college campuses.
Well, like they said, Democrats' only standard is a double standard.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Joe. Appreciate the call, man.
Have a great weekend, sir.
Hey, you too, buddy. I think it's wild when you see Al Sharpton saying, "What are you doing? You have to condemn these. You have to." You're seeing the left turn on themselves in so many different areas. But that's what happens with the left. They eat their own. I was watching a viral video from a campus protest. I forget which college it was because, as you know, it's currently every college, right? So it was in California, I believe. There's a black gentleman trying to get through the college campus, and these pro-Israel protesters have him blocked. And he has a baby stroller with his daughter, and one of the pro-Palestinian protesters has his foot in front of the stroller blocking it. And he says, "You're not going to let me through?" He's like, "I'm a black man. You're violating the Civil Rights Act." And he's absolutely right, but I wouldn't. Maybe the black guy was a conservative. It would lean you to believe that if he was going there for that kind of content. But you're seeing these groups button heads. It's fascinating to watch. But the left, they eat their own. Michelle in Clarksville has a protest question. What's up, Michelle?
So about the colleges and the universities, and watching this on TV, and I had no idea why the students were enraged, and so. Can
you say that one more time? You didn't know why the students were what now?
Enraged. Why they were? What was provoking their anger?
Okay.
So that's one thing is I don't know what is provoking their anger, but two, I'm really glad that law enforcement and security is just straight up handling them, like not letting them get away with anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're enraged because they've been told to be enraged. You know, I don't understand. And I appreciate your call. I got into an argument with a liberal friend from Massachusetts on Instagram. This is what I do while I'm show prepping, right? This woman sent me a video of Dartmouth College up in New England where the protesters, the police are saying you have 5 minutes to leave or you're going to be arrested for trespassing. And my liberal friend sent me this video and she goes, can you believe what the police are doing? These protesters aren't doing anything wrong. And they're going to arrest them for nothing? I said, well, they're arresting them for trespassing. And she's like, what? No. The police are making this worse. They didn't even give them a chance to leave. I said, in the beginning of the video, they said you have 5 minutes to leave or you're going to be arrested. It's amazing to watch this happen and the narrative. I mean, at Dartmouth, the police got them out of there before it got out of hand. But everybody says nothing's getting out of hand. Nothing's getting out of hand. Even Jamal Bowman went on MSNBC, I think it was. It might have been CNN. It was one of those terrible networks. Jamal Bowman goes on and he's like, I met with pro-Israel students and they told me anti-Semitism and what's happening is overblown.
I also met with so-called pro-Israel students when I was there just to hear about the anti-Semitism that they have experienced. And they told me it has been minimum. It has been overblown by the media. We have been uncomfortable, but we don't feel unsafe.
It's overblown, he says. Overblown. Okay, so you tell me. Do you feel like it's been overblown? There's a student who says she's seen violence every single day since these protests started at UCLA.
There's been violence every single day. On the first night, my close friend Lonnie, she was physically assaulted multiple times. She was pushed off a ledge for holding a sign condemning Hamas. And I've seen chants of them, in a circle chanting Intifada. And that's a call for violence against Jews. And anyone who knows Israeli history knows that the first and second Intifada resulted in a lot of suicide bombings and just murdering Jews. And to be chanting that in the middle of a campus, it just does not belong in an academic environment like that.
This was a UCLA professor, Nir Hoffman, saying that these protests have been anything but peaceful. Listen.
This was never peaceful. Jews were not allowed to go in to the campus. Jews were not allowed to go into the library. Jews were not allowed to go to classes.
No. Jamal Bowman said that it's overblown. He said it's overblown. The anti-Semitism, it's not real. It's a media fabrication.
This makes me feel extremely unsafe on campus.
We're just trying to get some last-minute studying in, and these anti-Israel agitators are causing massive disruptions.
We are allowing these students to spread their hatred, their bigotry, and their anti-Semitism.
This is a group that is hell-bent on continuing a state of war rather than finding peace.
I feel a lot of fear and concern for my safety as a Jewish student on campus, as well as my fellow Jewish students.
There's a lot of this growing, like, threatening culture.
No, they're actually all wrong. Jamal Bowman said it's overblown. Jamal Bowman said he spoke with them, and this is all overblown. Did you see what Elon Musk put on Twitter? Did you see? He said, proposed law, if someone tears down the American flag and puts up another flag in its place, that person should get a free but mandatory one-way trip to that flag's country. I feel like that would solve a lot of this already. And then did you see the frat boys? It's turning into a frat boy summer on some of these campuses. They're defending the American flag. At Ole Miss, the frat boys were singing the Star Spangled Banner. We've seen the frat boys stepping up a lot, and I love to see it. I do. But yeah, so-called pro-Israel students told Jamal Bowman that the anti-Semitism at Columbia is overblown. Overblown. Interesting indeed. Let's go to Jane in White House. You want to talk about Stormy Daniels? What's up, Jane?
Oh, yes. I think that Trump is the victim here because
he got blackmailed. Isn't blackmail a felony?
Yep.
Shouldn't Stormy Daniels be on trial for committing a felony and then breaking her contract also of not talking about it after she got paid?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, but everybody knows that this case is a joke, you know?
Yeah, it's a joke, but I think she should be held accountable for her actions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if she's the one pulling the strings, you know? Somebody's probably doing that behind the scenes for her.
I'm sure they are, but she participated in the felony, so she is a felon.
Yeah, I hear you, Jane. I appreciate the call.
Thank
you. Linda in Morrison, you're next on Super Talk. What do you want to talk about, Linda?
I would like to know where Stephanie Abrams is at. What is she doing?
Stephanie Abrams?
Yes.
Do you mean Stacey Abrams?
Out of Georgia?
Yes, ma'am. Stacey Abrams.
Yes, Stacey Abrams. I'm sorry.
I guess I'm just wondering what's the context?
Well, she was so instrumental in the Georgia and Atlanta elections. What's she doing now to disrupt?
Yeah, I'll look into it. I haven't heard much from her lately at all, to be honest with you.
That's my concern. No one's heard from her.
Yeah, all right. I get where your head's at. I'll look into it, Linda. I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It's 10:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Won't you take Dan Mandis, I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I got to record a steeplechase promo. You're such a good guy. Let's do it live. Did you see me and Murphy's steeplechase video? Do you like it? Clip clop, baby. That was one take. We did that. Yeah, we did that one take. He's like, "What do we do?" I was like, "You should hug the flag like Trump." And like That was the only that was the only pre-planning we had, the only direction. Like, we just rolled. Clip clop, baby.
Well, today's jobs report for the month of April throws a little cold water on the idea that the economy's overheating. I'll tell you about it at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
But Ken, 15 million jobs.
Oh, yeah.
15 million.
Yeah.
So,
that were actually there before he walked into the office.
Ken, we're not supposed to say that part.
Oh, that's right.
We have to leave that part out. It doesn't sound as good.
That's right. And even though we're feeling the pain of the economy, that doesn't mean anything.
No, it's true. In fact, Karine Jean-Pierre has said multiple occasions that prices are actually too low currently.
Yes.
Yeah.
We understand that prices, again, are too low.
So.
It's starting to rub off on her.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I'm super excited. May 11th, me and Murphy are taking the steeplechase by storm.
Oh yeah,
better look out.
83rd running of the Iroquois steeplechase, and we have a special deal for you if you want to come be part of our VIP tent and get some good food from Famous Dave's, beverages from Jack Daniels. You can get your tickets at 997WTN.com. Did you see the little promo video we did?
You guys did great.
We did a good promo video. It's on the Facebook page and on the Twitter page. So, you know that was one take?
One take wonder.
One take. We didn't even really have a game plan, to be perfectly honest with you.
That sounds about right.
Murphy looked at me. He's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. What do you want to do? He said, I don't know. So why don't you hug that flag like Trump? And he's like, I can do that. I was like, all right, cool. And then we looked at the guy recording. We're like, all right, let's go.
All right, bet. We're ready now.
All right, let's go. And that was it. And then we did it in one take. Well, I just want to say this about me and Murphy. We're pretty good. We are pretty good at that stuff.
Really humble, too.
We are the most humble.
Exactly.
If there was an award for being humble, me and Murphy would win.
Bingo.
One and 1A. We would. And I say that being from a very place of humbleness.
But who would be 1 and who would be 1A? You guys would have to fight for that.
This is true. I think you'd have to ask the question, which is better, 1 or 1A?
1A, exactly.
Well, boys, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way.
This is true. This is true.
The great Mac Davis told us that.
Yep. Mac Davis. Big Mac. All right. Let's go to Tom Morrison. Wants to talk about HR 8090. Tom, what's up, man?
Hey, good morning, Chris. How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
I am doing well, sir. Hey, this is your friendly neighborhood candidate for the 4th Congressional District. And I just wanted to let everyone know I would have been a no on 8090. This is, again, we're letting the government overreach and tools that can be weaponized in different circumstances. And
explain what HR 8090 is, Tom Davis.
This is the redefining of anti-Semitism. And when you look into this, you would make passages in the Bible illegal.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is 60. This is HR 6090.
Oh, 6090. Yes. Yep. 6090. I was thinking 8038, which was another bad vote that we got. So I confused those. I apologize.
No, you're cool.
But yeah, 6090. So yeah, that's the redefinition of it. So yeah. I would have been a no on that, and we got a yes here on the 4th.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think every Tennessee rep voted yes on this.
I believe you are correct on that. Yes, sir.
It doesn't make any sense to me. It seems like it is HR 6090, the redefinition of anti-Semitism. Listen, we can agree anti-Semitism is wrong. You have every right in this country to espouse those views under the First Amendment.
Absolutely. Yeah, liberty is dangerous, and free speech is just that, free speech. You start throttling it down or trying to decide what is, what's offensive to you, then we lose it.
Yeah.
And this is just another example of rights other than just the Second Amendment that get trounced on up there in Washington, D.C. And it's just knee-jerk reaction to like, oh, look at us, we're doing something. And it's ridiculous and wrong. So that's where I would be at. I would have been a no.
It blows my mind that is going to the Senate and it didn't get shut down. Now, you're running for Congress in the 4th. How can people get in touch with you, Tom?
They can get in touch with me on Facebook, Tom Davis for Congress. They can get in touch with me on YouTube. I have some videos up, Tom Davis TN4. I am on the Instagram, and that's Tom Davis TN4. They can email me at tomdavistn4@gmail.com. And then I will be in Fayetteville tomorrow from 9 till about 3. We'll be posted up at the address is actually 129 Market Street East, but I'll be walking around at their first Saturday fair, I think it's called. But that's where I'll be.
That's cool, man. That'll be a fun time. Appreciate the call, Tom.
Hey, you bet. Thanks, Chris. Have a great day.
Yeah, of course. You too, man. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. This rain might linger into parts of the weekend. We'll tell you about it during the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now, life-threatening weather situation in the Lone Star State. Maria Villarreal says there's a flooding emergency just outside of Houston. Tornadoes touched down near Hawley, Texas.
We spoke with the sheriff's deputy that is actually keeping watch over this area. He said it is an absolute blessing. As far as he knows, nobody was killed in this particular tornado, but definitely a lot of damage. And the governor of Texas has also issued a disaster declaration for more than 50 counties. That is ahead of another day of severe weather in this region.
Today's jobs report throws a little cold water on the idea that the economy's overheating. We added 175,000 in April, less than the 240,000 expected, certainly less than the more than 300,000 that was added the prior month. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. You know, Paul's coming into the show later today. Excited to speak with him. I'm also excited to be Paul's client. Paul is so smart. You know Paul. He's been hosting the Investor Coaching Show here on WTN for a long time. We run it Saturday from 3 to 6. He's been hosting that show 2 decades now. Wild to be hosting a show for that long. But he started that show after he spent time studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize. That's how Paul got his feet wet, cut his teeth. That's pretty cool. And he's an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has up to 8 now. And this is why my wife and I work with Paul. We heard him on WTN before I got my show here, and we knew when I got here we had to meet and work with Paul. And when I came on board, that was the decision we made. And it's because his firm and Paul himself hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. As such, Paul wants to make sure I tell you I get paid when these commercials air. I like it. I like the transparency. Where else do you hear that? I also like that Paul's team does nothing on commission. It gives you that honest feeling that they're doing something for you with the advice they give you, not for themselves, because nothing is done on commission. It's for your financial future, not theirs. And they'll educate you along the way. This is why I'm so excited to have Paul on the show today at 11:35. The education that he brings is it's enlightening, and he brings it with mountains of research and data to back it up. So I'm excited to speak to him, and then you'll hear when you hear from Paul that education is so important to him. If you want to link up with Paul and his team, they'll look at your whole financial picture and then help you make decisions on your financial future. But you have to start by setting up a 15-minute phone call today. And you do that by going to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com. Yeah, I know. I'm watching you. I'm like, you all right, bud? Left of the show. Dude, it's going to be so easy. I'm so excited to have, I don't know, we've never had a musician in. No, we'll just do the whole thing. Dude, I'm hyped. He's got got like 75,000 followers on Instagram. All of these independent artists, this is one of the things I want to ask him about. Like, until you become a musician, do you view yourself as a content creator on YouTube? Is that the new business model without a record deal? How are you doing this? What is your game plan? Like, that's the kind of stuff that I want to get into. You know what I mean? Would you sign a major label record deal? I just need a break from the bullshit. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, I feel like other people need that, but like, I still want to have like, I don't want a blind dog. Like, I want interesting discussions. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense though? Like, I don't mean that as a knock. I'm just like, that's just not my style. Paul, I'm just going to let the callers take it over with him. Yeah. Why? Yeah, that's why I don't want, it's not investment advice. Like, and when we're screening calls, like, we're talking big picture theory, you know what I mean? Bricks, like gold standard, like, I might say, like, what kind of advice would you give somebody that hasn't started? That's easy. And we'll get that out of the way first. Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. I don't think so. I don't think we sweared or anything, so at least this is the one we need to get rid of. 10:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Members Nutrition text line, the 10:33, we had a Sherry texted, CH, your mic is hot right now. Was my mic on?
I didn't see it.
I don't know.
But Sherry's in the RPMC. She does know what's going on.
This is true. So
we should trust her.
Red Pilled Moms Club. What's up? So, I don't know. Was my mic hot?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think we were talking about anything.
We were actually being very...
To be fair, there are times off the air that if my mic was hot,
I would have been petrified.
That would be my last show. I don't think that was one of those times. We were talking about Paul coming in at 11:35.
Yeah, we're talking about Paul, yeah.
Yeah. We're kind of like talking about what our game plan is going to be. So, we're going to talk theory, big picture, gold standard, BRICS nations, fiat currency, Federal Reserve.
Fun 11 o'clock hour,
man. If you got financial conspiracy theories, that's what we want to talk about. What happened to the Titanic?
Paul's like, okay, great.
Oh, my wife just texted me. She said she's right. Sherry in the RPMC.
Well, why didn't Virginia let you know? Why are we hearing this from Sherry?
I don't know. Virginia's in the RPMC.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, they said it was during a commercial. It was a female voice that came through. That was Mac's fault.
I think that was my bad.
So my mic was hot, but it was on purpose.
Yes.
And then you started playing commercials.
I interrupted you, yeah. That's true.
Commercials on commercials. I'm sure that'll please the people that say we play too many commercials. We play so many now that we're doubling them up.
Doing them all at once.
We're doing two at one, baby.
Two things at once.
Yeah, two things at once. Of course, Mac lives by that.
Of course.
So, oh my gosh! All right, remind me that I need to ask you about the NFL bubble wrapping helmets.
Oh yeah. We were going to talk about that earlier this week.
We haven't gotten to that. All right, so. At 11:05, Taylor Goyette's coming in. He's a musician in Nashville. Woo. Luke, he just hung up.
Whoa, that was crazy.
That was weird.
As you said his name.
As I said his name, he's
Luke.
like, I'm not holding anymore.
Luke, call back.
All right, well. Anyway. All right, so bubble wrapped helmets in the NFL? Why are they doing this? And who is going to be the first person to wear the bubble wrapped helmet? And why is it going to be Travis Kelce?
Yeah, I knew this is where we were going. Yeah,
give me this. Give me the under the box score take.
Yeah, it's called Guardian caps. We even had to wear these in when I played high school football during practices and stuff like that. So it's basically to help prevent concussions and big collisions and stuff like that. We don't have enough data to know that it does anything legitimately. All the data comes from practice. So guys don't go full speed in practice. Guys barely even tackle full speed in practice in the NFL. So yeah, of course there's less injuries that happen with the caps on because you're going 50%. So yeah, they're now allowing you to wear these caps in a real game. I don't know who will do it.
Okay, so I hear where you're at. You go, I don't know who will do it, but I feel like this is the way it's going to trend. Eventually, everybody's going to be wearing these. Because
maybe, yeah.
Because you think back to the NHL. Oh, now you can wear helmets in the real game. Who's going to do that?
Yeah, everyone does it. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it looks really stupid. I don't know if you've seen these Guardian caps. They look dumb.
And that's why I think Travis Kelce is going to be the first one to wear it.
I don't think so.
You don't?
I don't think so.
I watch.
I think you're going to see more of these things on their neck. You've seen a couple players wear these. It pinches your nerves in your neck. It decreases blood flow or increases blood flow to your brain, decreasing the amount of space that your brain has in your skull to move around and wiggle around. So when you get hit, your brain stays put and it's not jiggling and jostling around everywhere. I think those are going to be what you see. A lot of things. It's right on the back of your neck.
More brain blood.
More brain blood.
Blood.
That's I think it.
More brain blood, less concussions.
This Guardian cap thing is dumb.
What about the 18 game schedule? Is that happening?
Oh, I'm so in. That's definitely going to happen.
Goodell was talking with McAfee about it.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. 18 games will start a week earlier, 2 preseason games, and that way the Super Bowl will fall on a 3-day weekend, President's Day.
So that makes sense.
That's it.
And it makes sense for America because
100%.
we lose so much productivity the Monday after the Super Bowl.
Now I don't have to call out anymore.
Well, but on the flip side, we're giving you 2 extra opportunities to call out if there's an 18-game regular season.
That's true.
We lose one, but there's going to be another one.
Oh, inevitably. I will get the Wu flu. It'll happen.
You'll get the Wu flu. It always happens during football season.
All right, that's funny.
So to be fair, 18 games is happening. You don't think
it's definitely going to happen?
Bubble wrap balloon ball is not happening?
I mean, it's happening as in it's legal. I just don't see these guys doing it.
Somebody's going to get a big money endorsement.
That's the thing. If you get endorsement for it, yeah. The NFL, will they allow that,
Somebody's going to get paid, though.
Yeah.
And that's going to change it.
Money will change it.
Money will change it. It's going to take one guy getting a $15 million contract for these things.
And he just does a commercial for helmet pads, I guess,
he does
Guardian caps or whatever.
Does the commercial for Guardian caps, and then he's going to be the one wearing them in the games.
Yeah, he's going to be the guy wearing it. Yeah. And then he's going to be the guy who gets concussed. And then Guardian Cap's going to be like, wait, guys.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah, literally. That's what's going to happen.
Who do you think that would be? Like, it's got to be a quarterback.
Be quarterback. Yeah, someone like that.
Who is the softest quarterback in the league?
Tua. Tua is the first guy that comes to mind. Tua Tagovailoa. Yep.
He's going to be the one wearing it?
He would totally wear a Guardian Cap. Yeah, 100%.
Who's the sleaziest, biggest sellout in the league?
Gosh. Ooh, that's a tough one, man.
Why? Let's make it even harder. Don't say Travis Kelce. What?
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one.
You remember when the endorsements and stuff used to mean you're selling out?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
What happened with that?
Oh, now they all do it.
Where did that go in culture?
Now all these guys are.
I wish we could shame people for selling out. What endorsement do I have coming up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's look at our endorsement. That's so funny.
All right, I did want to do some housekeeping. Have you heard the story about Baton Rouge? The Baton Rouge secession? Baton Rouge is getting an extra city.
This is nuts.
This is wild. So Baton Rouge, Louisiana, residents are now allowed to form a separate city called St. George. The Louisiana Supreme Court has ruled. On Friday, the Louisiana Supreme Court ruled that residents of an area in Baton Rouge that are fed up with rampant crime and mismanagement are finally allowed to split and incorporate their own city, St. George. This is the culmination of 15 years of hard work of convincing community members and the courts to greenlight this move, which originally began as a fight to form a new school district. According to the Associated Press, the Louisiana State Supreme Court ruled 4-3 that the residents living in the southeast areas of Baton Rouge, the state's capital, could incorporate St. George, overturning rulings from lower courts that denied the request. The court found that the organizers of the proposed new city had finally managed to follow the proper steps and that it was reasonable to believe it could provide residents with all the necessary public services. In 2019, there was a referendum. It was held within the boundaries of what will soon become St. George. 54% voted yes. Leaders from Baton Rouge took organizers to court, claiming that secession would bring with it negative consequences for the poorer residents nearby. So the area of St. George is more wealthy, but they're upset with the mismanagement happening in their city. I'm sure many big cities feel this way because you get good patches in any big city, right? There's always going to be good neighborhoods that are going to get fed up with what's happening around them and say, we've had enough. So they've tried to do this, and it's been squashed in 2022 and in 2023. But now this is happening. Many have deemed this move to be racially motivated. They're crying racism. The organizer's attorney, J. Andrew Murrell, stressed that the city was for all residents, regardless of their skin color. We're open for everyone. If you want more opportunity, you want a better life, you want a chance for lower crime, St. George. I don't care what you look like. No one cares. No one ever did. That's a narrative that was created as a smokescreen to rally people into a cause. It's never been true. And of course it's not true. But black people don't want high crime areas. Asian people don't want high crime areas. White people don't want high crime areas. Everybody wants good schools for their kids and safety in a city. So that's obviously a narrative, but it's an easy one to push, right? You scream racism when you don't like something. But he added, we're ready to move forward. We've had a goal the entire time, 2 goals. Create a world-class city that everyone can be proud of, that's accountable to its citizens. And second, make a better East Baton Rouge parish, a parish that's on the decline with a high crime rate, a poor education system, and people leaving in record numbers to go to other parishes who are benefiting from those citizens. We had 2 goals, better city, better parish, and now we move forward in that process. This is a fascinating story. And it's like, what do we do next? Because, you've heard all the tales of Northern California wanting to make their own state, Jefferson. I'm sure there's many cities that are fed up with the mismanagement. Do you see this happening in more places? I'm sure it could. And now there's precedent. Fascinating. All right, so Taylor Goyette's joining us at 11:05. Luke is back on the line. He wants to talk about music. What's up, Luke?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Good, man. Right as I was going to you, Luke. Yeah, right as I was going to you hung up, man. It was we were so sad.
I know. I heard it. I'm working for my buddy today, which I'm a musician full time, and so one day I'm helping my buddy out, and I thought I was gonna have to go in there and it is what it is, man. But here I am. I just wanted to tell you guys. I heard what you were talking about with that musician coming in. My wife and I have been doing country music for about a decade full time. We own a house in Nashville and, living the dream that way, but we're conservative and it's in our music. And we put a vaccine song out. It's called The Vaccine Song, which, it messed our career up a little bit putting it out, but we stand by it.
What's your, what's the artist name?
We are called The Hoots with a Z, HOOTZ.
And the song's on YouTube?
And, it's for sale and stuff. It actually, which is really funny, TikTok picked it up, and a lot of people that are super not conservative people at all use the song to back their videos, which I thought was funny. But it brings us people into our music, so which is cool. But we had a lot of venues that they wouldn't let us play our song, and we understood that. A lot of our stuff is conservative.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and it's tough to be a conservative in the music industry.
It is, and we tried veering our way, being like more mid-level, and it's like the more, I think politics at this point it's in everything. I mean, it's in, if you look at the color of the sky, and we can talk about politics, and we just decided to dive into it and just not try saying we're not what we are, and it's working for us, and we get more fans than we lose, and it works out in the end.
I love it, man. Where can people find your music?
Anywhere you buy music. We're called The Hoots, HOOTZ. I'd love for you guys to just check out the vaccine songs. I think you'd like it. It's definitely light. It's tongue in cheek.
Yeah, man. I'll definitely check it out. I appreciate the call, Luke.
I love you guys, man. I listen to you every day.
Hey, thanks, man. Love you back. Bye. All right. We love Luke. Just met him. Love the guy. All right. So have you seen the members nutrition text line? What it's devolved into?
Oh, yes.
Can we give Memphis to Arkansas? Talking about the Baton Rouge thing.
Yeah.
They say Buckhead's been dealing with this in Atlanta as well. Also, people are talking about the Guardian caps.
Yep.
2181 said, send the Guardian caps to the NBA and have LeBron,
wear it.
He needs it. Well, LeBron's on vacation now.
Yep. In Cancun.
LeBron's
See you,
on
buddy.
vacation. Do you think he's going back to the Lakers?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
What's the rumors about him playing with his son?
They're going to fire their coach. The Lakers will figure out to draft Bronny.
You think that the Lakers will draft him?
Yeah.
100%?
To keep LeBron, yeah. In the second round, yeah.
Are the Lakers...
Even if you have to draft him,
does
maybe,
LeBron
honestly.
win another championship in the NBA?
No.
Never.
No, and I made that take right after the bubble championship. So I've been
Which was a fake championship.
It was exactly.
It's a fake championship.
Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
Mickey Mouse ring.
Mickey Mouse ring. You're absolutely right.
And a lot of people are saying Mahomes would endorse the Caps. He's the sellout.
Mahomes would endorse the Caps.
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Also, if I'm waiting to see if how some people track Nancy Pelosi's stock investments.
Oh yeah.
We should track Taylor Swift's stock investments.
Guardian caps.
If she makes a big investment in Guardian caps, Travis is going to be wearing one opening day. You know it. Somebody's going to.
I could see her actually being the one being like, Travis, you got to wear this. You got to stay safe, man.
Yep. And I said we should shame people for selling out. Sally on the Members Nutrition text line said, you want to shame them for selling out? They're going to be wearing a head condom. That's shame enough. 1051 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Rapist Amazon? They're raping everybody out here. Is rape funny? Hilarious. It's a big joke to you. Is that what this is? Everything's funny or nothing's funny. That's fair. here. I'm going to go grab them, okay?
We're monitoring reports that the Justice Department is expected to announce an indictment against a prominent Democratic congressman today. Former President Trump's lawyers pouncing on a portion of hush money trial proceedings, which told jurors they'll just have to take former fixer Michael Cohen's word for it without evidence. These stories and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 1056. My name's Chris Hand. Taylor Goyette is joining me in studio.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing a couple songs for us, talking about the state of the music industry, trying to make it in Nashville, and writing songs that maybe the record companies aren't exactly excited to hear. Maybe it's songs that the record company doesn't really want to promote. And how he balances that. We were just talking in the hallways. Like, do you want a record deal?
Oh man, dude. I mean, I would love a record deal if the right one came across the table. Yeah, I'm not a complete anti-industry guy.
Okay, so we'll talk about all that, and we'll dive into a couple of the songs that I've heard that I really enjoy from you.
Awesome, thank you, man.
I mean, I heard The Show Goes On.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's done some cool stuff for me. That song.
It has. American Girl.
Yeah, all new American Girl.
So you haven't even released that song yet.
No, that one's coming out this summer.
I've only heard snippets, and you're going to play it for us?
I'll play it for you, yeah.
Oh, man, I'm excited about that. I think that one's fantastic. And then Aliens.
Yeah, waiting on the aliens.
That one, well, let's close with that one. That one's very, very fun. I'm very excited about that. Do you find that where do you lean politically? Because I listen to your music, and it's like, I don't really know if you're a conservative. But I listen to the content of your music, and it's like it seems to trend that way.
Yeah, I don't necessarily pick a team. Actually, it's kind of what the song's about, is like kind of being against team politics and just thinking that we need more than, it's either this way or that way, and that's it.
Yeah,
there's no middle of the road. And I grew up with a mother that was very, she said a lot. She said there's got to be somewhere in the middle. Like there's got to be a meeting ground, and that's the only way I think we can bring people together is if we can compromise.
Yeah.
And there doesn't seem to be a lot of compromise these days. It seems to be, well, you're either all the way this way or all the way that way.
Yep.
And that's what a lot of the song, I think, metaphorically, it's what the song addresses without saying it right on the nose.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So we're going to play a couple songs. We're going to hang out with Taylor and talk about the music industry and in Nashville. How are your songs received?
I feel like the weird guy, you know?
Do you?
No doubt. I definitely feel like the weird guy. I've always kind of felt like the weird guy since I was a kid, so it's pretty normal for me to feel that way at this point. But no, man, I feel like the weird guy, but at the same time, I definitely feel like I get appreciated every now and then, and that's a cool thing because there's a lot of folks around this town that like everyone's kind of doing the same thing. It feels like sometimes, and I'm kind of set out. A few years back, I set out, and I feel like I've always set out to do this, but a couple years back, I really set out to kind of do something that was really going to set me apart, you know?
Well, I think you definitely set yourself apart. We're going to play some songs of Taylor's on the way. Hang out with us. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot this Friday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a crash on 440 westbound right there at Hillsborough Pike. That is just now coming in. And the full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. We are monitoring reports that a prominent Democratic congressman from Texas is going to be indicted today. Henry Cuellar's home and campaign office in Laredo, Texas, were raided by the FBI in 2022. The charges against Cuellar are not yet publicly available, but in a statement today, Cuellar said that he and his wife are, quote, innocent of these allegations. He'll be on the ballot this November seeking his 11th term in Congress. 2 Republicans face each other in a runoff election this month for a chance to take on Cuellar in the fall. Meanwhile, in New York City, former President Donald Trump's hush money criminal trial on the stand at one point, custodial witness Douglas Doss, whose role was to extract data from Michael Cohen's iPhone. Catherine Folder says he was questioned as to whether that data could have been tampered with, at one point suggesting that jurors would have to take Michael Cohen's word for it regarding the integrity of the evidence.
That last line of questioning where they ultimately have to rely on Michael Cohen was exactly what the defense wanted to get out of him, out of this witness, because obviously they are casting Michael Cohen as somebody who has no credibility, has been convicted of lying. So I think that's ultimately what they were trying to get at there.
And longtime Trump aide Hope Hicks is testifying now. Latest jobs numbers may nudge the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates sooner rather than later. Jim Ryan reports on April's sluggish pace of hiring.
Economists surveyed by Dow Jones were expecting 240,000 jobs to be generated last month. The actual number came in at 175,000, with the unemployment rate creeping up slightly to 3.9%. Some analysts think the Fed may rethink its decision to leave interest rates where they've been since last July.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
No, they don't. They don't. She's like, when are you coming back? I'm not. Yeah. 11:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, joined in studio by Taylor Goyette. I'm very excited. It's an agenda-free Friday, so we kind of change things up. We do things a little bit differently. And Taylor's joining us to do some songs today. He's a country artist here in town. How long have you been doing music, man?
I started writing when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
And I moved to Nashville when I was 21 years old.
Okay.
And, I'm 31 now.
So you've been here a decade.
Yeah.
What do you like about this town?
I love the fact that there's this undercurrent of energy just running through the town. That's like all things creative, all things music. That's a really cool part about it. I do love that. I love the scene. Like, there's a great scene for this.
I talk to a lot of musicians, though, and they do say that the scene tends to lean towards the left. Does your music kind of put you in a weird spot in the scene because of like the content recently that you've been putting out?
Probably. I don't feel it necessarily. But it might put me in a weird spot. I don't know. But all I know is like I know what I know how to do, and I'm just gonna do my best at that.
Well, and this is what caught my eye. It's that you're doing what you know how to do. So the first piece of content that caught my eye is you're doing The Show Goes On, right? And you're sitting in a car with two friends that don't exactly share the same political views as you. And watch it. They're reacting to the song in real time. It's like the first time that they've heard this song.
Yes.
What was that conversation like after the piece of content stopped rolling? What did they think about the song?
I mean, obviously they were both laughing because I think no matter what side of the political spectrum you stand on, I think we can all agree that it's a little wild out there.
Yeah.
And I think you have extremism on both sides, but I also think you just have normal people on both sides who believe in what they believe in, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to fight. That doesn't mean there has to be blood.
Yeah.
And I think to bring some satire and some humor to the topic, and the fact that two of my friends could sit in a car and laugh about the same situation, that's like the light I'm trying to shine on all this. Is like we're all equally screwed, no matter what.
You're wearing a hat. The hat says we're all screwed.
Yeah. You said earlier that you liked the hat.
Yeah.
I forgot which hat I was wearing.
Yeah, I like the hat a lot.
Yeah.
It says we're all screwed.
Yeah.
All right. So without further ado, can you play The Show Goes On for us?
I would love to.
All right. Taylor Goyette, this is The Show Goes On.
Yeah. Let's go. Step right up, got tickets on sale. In today's episode, trains coming off the rails. Watch it all burn from the screen on your phone. Don't you worry about it, you're safe at home. Every talking head will tell you everything's fine. It's the blind leading the blind. Yeah, it's a circus out here, we're wobbling on a wire. There's a lady with a beard, clown struggling fire. Elephants and donkeys got us jumping through hoops. Y'all wish that I was lying, but you know that is the truth. Get your popcorn ready and pour you something strong. If the world's still spinning, the shit show goes on. Yeah, the world's strongest man just dropped the ball, and the tent's caving in from the weight of it all. Yeah, the lion's out the cage, puppets in a rage, and the ringleader's on parade. It's a circus out here, we're wobbling on a wire. There's a lady with a beard, clown struggling fire. Elephants and donkeys got us jumping through hoops. Yeah, I wish that I was lying, but you know that is the truth. Get your popcorn ready and pour you something strong. If the world's still spinning, this shit show goes on. La da da da, la da 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 da, la da da da, la da da da, la da 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 da. It's a circus out here, we're wobbling on a wire. There's a lady with a beard, clowns juggling fire. Elephants and donkeys got us jumping through hoops. Y'all wish that I was lying, but you know that is the truth. Get your popcorn ready and pour you something strong. If the world's still spinning, the show goes on.
Man, so good.
da da da.
How long did it take you to write that song?
Me and my buddies, we wrote it in about maybe a couple hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How much reaction have you gotten from that?
Probably the most reaction I've gotten out of any song. Yeah.
Really?
As far as the internet goes, and I mean, within the industry, it's definitely something that, my publisher at the time and a few other people, just thought, man, like somebody has to cut this song. And the people that the song was showed to, they liked it, but they said, I don't know if I can sing that. And so I kind of just said, you know what?
Were they scared because of the content?
I'm sure, yeah. And then I thought, well, I'm not getting any younger, so I'm just going to sing it. How about that?
Yeah.
And like we had already had the record that we put out there on it is actually the demo that we made that day.
No kidding.
So I mean, everything we did that day when we wrote it, and the weird piano stuff and the creepy clown stuff. I mean, it's all in there, and it all just fit in a really cool and a very
because the piano really adds something to it. It really does.
It brought you right to the circus.
So when you're doing these songs, you don't have a record deal. You've put this out a bunch of different times on social media and stuff. Do you feel like you're a songwriter, singer, or do you feel like you're a content creator? Like, which hat are you wearing?
I'm a songwriter, singer, yeah. I mean, I had to become a content creator because of the world we live in, and it's a beautiful thing because, obviously, my song has reached millions of people, and otherwise that wouldn't have happened. And I did it essentially all for free. I didn't have to hire a label. I didn't have to hire anybody to do all this for me. So that's a beautiful thing. But the songs come first. I'll always be a songwriter first.
Where did you fall in love with songwriting?
Honestly, dude, I grew up around music. Music was around me. My dad sang in bands. I mean, I always did music. I actually did musical theater when I was in middle school.
Really?
Yeah. And I fell in love with the writing process probably as a kid, and I didn't really realize it until I was 14 or 15. And I didn't really get introduced to country music till I was like 12 or 13 years old. And a buddy of mine, he was from Texas. We were driving in the truck and we were listening to a Kevin Fowler song, and he said, "We'll be singing and dancing in the church of Hank Williams." And I looked at my buddy and I said, "Who's Hank Williams?" Because I didn't know who Hank Williams was. And he about stopped the truck and slapped me. He was offended. And then on out, I started listening to all the like old Hank Williams stuff and Johnny Cash and like deep cuts too, not just like the stuff that everybody knows. And I fell in love with how raw and how much conviction there was behind the lyrics and behind the meaning of the songs, and really fell in love with that. And that's really what got me, I think, into songwriting.
Well, and I heard that first song of you, "The Show Goes On," and I was like, wow, that's a banger. I was like, I was really impressed with it. Then I heard another song that you released.
Yeah.
And well, you put on content on social media.
Yeah.
You haven't officially released it yet. It's called American Girl.
Yeah.
Okay. This song I thought is powerful. And I'm really excited to have you play it. I got to ask you to self-censor. So if there's any swear words, just drop them.
I'm so that was habit, the last one.
No, you're fine.
I've sang the song so many times.
Fine.
Yeah.
No, you're cool. You're cool. So I want you to play American Girl, and then I want to talk about where you got the idea and what the mindset was, because I think that this one, like the Show Goes On, is really cool, but this one is next level.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
and that's really good to hear, because obviously when you put a song out, you know, you get a little scared. You're like, oh, am I going to be able to do that again?
No, and I don't want to like spoil it. So I want to hear the song, and then we'll talk about the message in it, because I think it is so on point.
Yeah, you want me to do it right now?
Yeah, let's hit it. Let's hit it.
I got to make sure I remember how to play it. Hang on a second. Katie's got a cabinet full of pills. Tries to take the ones that make her feel better. Scrolling through her phone, don't pay the bills. And she don't have the will to go get her. The kind of work that pays her what she's worth. The kind of love she don't think she deserves. She tries to be picture perfect like her mama's magazines, but all that ever gave her was anxiety. Society's been selling her a hopeless dream. She was born heartbroken, wakes up choking on a smile in a petty little world. The all-new American girl. Oh yeah, alright. They don't make it easy, baby.
family grew up Generation X. Never seen her body on the internet, and now she's raising up a daughter who she's trying to protect, hoping that she's taught her what she ain't learned yet. She tries to be picture perfect like her mama's magazines, but all that ever gave her was anxiety. Society's been selling her a hopeless dream. She was born heartbroken, wakes up choking on a smile in a petty little world. The all-new American girl. Oh yeah, alright. They don't make it easy, baby. Oh yeah, alright. Out of vans and minivans, boys that live in Neverland. Worst thing she could ever get is lines on her face. In the mirror, all she sees half of who she wants to be, knowing that she'll never meet the bar they raise. She tries to be picture perfect like her mama's magazines, but all that ever gave her was anxiety. Society's been selling her a hopeless dream. She was born heartbroken, wakes up choking on a smile in a petty little world. The all-new American girl. Oh yeah, alright. They don't make it easy, baby. Oh yeah, alright. So try to take it easy, baby.
I mean, that is so good.
Thanks,
There
man.
are so many layers to that song
Thank
that we
you.
could unwrap. I feel like we could spend an hour unpacking that song. That is so deep.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
I mean, it's, I mean, I'm married. I'm a happily married man. I've been with the same woman for almost 8 years. I also grew up with a sister and a mother, obviously. You know, I had two loving parents that, were there for me. And I think it's, I'm already like, I know I've used the internet and the internet's done really cool stuff for me and social media has and all that stuff. But like in the grand scheme of things, like social media, I don't know that it does more good than bad or more bad than good.
Yeah.
I think the jury's still out on that one. And there's definitely an issue. I mean, there's definitely a mental health issue. There's an issue, I think, with women. I think women have always struggled with body image and comparing themselves to other women and stuff like that. And there's definitely, there's other women talking about it, but there's definitely no men talking about it.
Well, and you go through it and you kind of go back a generation comparing her to her mom's magazines, right? So like that's something that like we grew up with.
Yeah.
And then you talk about the mom is Gen X and she's raising this girl for a world that she hasn't learned about yet.
Yeah.
And I'm a parent and that hits.
Yeah.
Like that hits so hard. Even our age group, our parents were raising us for a world they weren't prepared for.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. There's no way to predict it. You just
What's the reaction been like to that song?
It's been pretty good. I think it's still pretty fresh. I haven't it hasn't had a lot of ears on it. But that one video I put out, the people that did reach out to me saying like, "Whoa, that song is something else." I was actually surprised. So.
It's phenomenal. Like
I really appreciate
the way you write that and the breakdown, and then Advance to minivans, the way you speed up at the end there.
I got to say, I can't take complete credit for all that. I wrote that with Marty Dodson, who's an incredible female songwriter, and then my buddy Mark Chandler. And he's also an incredible songwriter. And I wrote that with them. And I got to say, if Marty hadn't been in the room that day, I don't know if the song would have been as great as it is. So.
No, the song's fantastic. I'm getting people messaging me. We have the super text line, the members nutrition text line, and I got a text here from Kevin. He says, "As a father of two girls, that song gets me."
Yeah,
I have a 10-year-old daughter. The first time I heard that, it was like, oh,
yeah,
like it hits you in your soul, man.
Yeah.
So how long did that take to write?
That's probably another one, a couple hours. Usually the good ones come out. You don't have to work too hard to get them out. So it's about a couple hours,
Do you go in with a concept like you want to write about this girl, or like how do you start? Because there's so many people that write songs, but it seems like in today's pop culture generation, it's, beer drinking, partying, having fun. I
love those things, by the way.
Yeah, and I think those songs are great and they have a place, but there's something that's like missing in music, and I feel like that song captures it.
And I appreciate you noticing that, because that's something I've tried to put into my music more recently too, especially because I'm 31 years old. Yep. I'm married. I got a kid on the way. I got a baby boy coming in July.
That is awesome. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you,
God is good.
And it just feels kind of silly for me to still be writing about heartbreak, and which, don't get me wrong, I love a good heartbreak song, but there's so much else going on in this world right now, and I think to keep singing about the same kind of tired stuff, I think there's a lot of people out there that want to hear something else. Yeah. They want to hear something different. And once again, just like I said, it doesn't mean that the two can't collide and meet in the same space. And, don't get me wrong, I write a lot of songs about drinking and being on the boat and having a good time and all that stuff too. So, but yeah.
Somebody asked was that a throwback to the Tom Petty, "Oh Yeah, All Right"?
Yes, we definitely. So in the hook, it says, she was wakes up choking on a smile in a petty little world.
Yeah.
The all-new American Girl.
It's so good.
And then, we definitely, we had to tip our hats to
there's so many layers to that song.
The late and great Tom Petty there. Yeah.
I love it. All right, a lot of people are asking me, let's just reset. Who are you and where can we find your music?
My name is Taylor Goyette. I was born in Florida. I moved to Nashville 10 years ago. I've been kicking around Nashville for 10 years, writing songs and playing music. And you can find me on Spotify. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. All the places, Taylor Goyette Music or just Taylor Goyette. I should be fairly easy to find. I got a website, www.taylorgoyette.com.
So we have a person that texts all the time. Her name is Wendy.
Yeah.
Usually she uses the super text line to roast us and make fun of us. She's like one of our favorites. Like she clowns on us.
Yeah.
She said, she just sent a message. She said, "Who is this guy? We had our first baby girl last year. She was a preemie NICU baby. This song made me literally break down in tears."
Oh, man.
Dude, that's a powerful song.
We love you, Wendy. Thank you.
When are you going to release that to the public?
I'm hoping that one comes out this summer. I don't have a set date for it yet, but I have a song coming out this at the end of May 24th. I got a song called Boat Digger coming out. And that's just a fun summer song. It's about the girl that only dates you for your boat. And then I have a song called Waiting on the Aliens coming out after that. And then All New American Girl. I'm pretty sure, I think at this trajectory, probably September, something like that at this rate.
Man, I'm like, I want it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that would be good. We got to build the anticipation.
All right, perfect. Well, I'm excited. I think that one's so good. We have time for one more song.
Awesome, yeah.
Can we do Aliens?
Yes.
Yes. Aliens is just fun.
Okay, yeah.
I think Aliens.
It's just, it's fun. It's crazy. It's just a crazy world we live in.
It is a crazy world we live in. It's crazy because, people will be like, "Oh, by the way, did you hear the government said there's aliens?" And you're like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, that got brushed off real fast.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to believe anymore. That's kind of that's the stage I'm at.
Yeah. All right, let's do.
Will I get a chance to plug my shows too?
Yes.
Okay, sweet.
Of course, you're gonna have a chance to plug your shows. Let's do Aliens real quick.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. This one's called Waiting on the Aliens. Nobody get mad or anything.
And don't swear.
I don't think there's any swearing in this one.
All right, I don't think so either.
Sorry about the last one.
No, you're good. You're good.
Where we go when we die, we got bigger fish to fry. Water lines on the rise, fighting over who decides what we do with Uncle Sam. He's getting old and out of hand. Little man with blinders on, playing with atomic bombs. All night, all day, it's alright, it's okay. We're all just killing a little time on the edge of existence. I look up into the sky and I swear I see extraterrestrial eyes looking back at me. My father said the times they are changing. Call me crazy, but I'm just waiting on the aliens. Waiting on the aliens. Crooks since I was living free. People doing time for weed. Your information's bought and sold. I just saw a UFO. Watching all the tracks you see coming from a tiny screen. Maybe they're like years away. All I can do is hope and pray. All night, all day. It's alright, it's okay. We're all just killing a little time on the edge of existence. I look up into the sky and I swear I see extraterrestrial eyes looking back at me. My father said the times they are changing. Call me crazy, but I'm just waiting on the aliens. Waiting on the aliens. Waiting on the aliens. Waiting on the aliens. Acid rain, toxins running in my veins. No more fishes in the sea, falling through the galaxy. All night, all day, it's alright, it's okay. We're all just killing a little time on the edge of existence. I look up into the sky and I swear I see extraterrestrial eyes looking back at me. My father said the times they are changing. Call me crazy, but I'm just waiting on the aliens. 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 Waiting on the aliens.
That's Taylor Goyette, Goyette. You got some shows coming up in Nashville.
I do, just outside of Nashville, actually. I got a show in Pulaski, May 18th. It's called the Josh Fest. It's a street festival. It's the second annual one there. It's hosted by a venue called Venue 220 down there. It's going to be in Pulaski, Tennessee, and I don't know what time I play, but it's going to be in the evening, or or during the day. So, but there's you can go on my website or find me on social media, and you can get more details about that. And then I think other than that, I got a show in Minnesota, in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. I'm playing August 1st. WE Fest. I'll be actually playing right before Jelly Roll. So
I love it.
About that one.
That's awesome, man. You're going to be opening for Jelly Roll?
Yeah, technically, I guess I'm on the other stage, so I'm not technically opening for him, but I'll take it, man. I'll take it. We'll call it opening.
You're on the same bill, right?
Yeah, for real.
All right, so where can we find you on social media?
At Taylor Goyette Music, or at Taylor Goyette, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Twitter. I don't really go on Twitter too much. I can only focus on so many. TikTok. And then all the other music, anywhere you stream music, that's where I am.
Taylor Goyette, thank you so much for coming by today, man. I really appreciate it. TaylorGoyette.
Yes.
Taylor
That's
Goyette.
It. Go find
him, man. He's unbelievable. Appreciate you for coming through. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. The guys at USS have been doing this work in Middle Tennessee since 1994. But when I got to meet with them, they told me, you don't know you need us until you know you need us. So what are the things that the guys at USS do? Well, they do a lot of things. They can fix the sinkholes on your property. They can raise the concrete if you have cracks in your driveway, if your steps are sinking, if you need foundation repair. They do all of that. But they specialize in waterproofing. And this is the time of year where you find out, usually the hard way, that you need some waterproofing help. Water is getting into your basement. Water is getting into your crawl space. What do? You call USS. How do you know water is getting into your basement and crawl space? Well, you'll see the warning signs, like standing water in your crawl space, wet basement walls, cracks in your basement floors. That's your house trying to tell you something. Give the guys at USS a call to come take a look. They'll create a custom plan for your home. Then they won't leave until the work is done and you're satisfied. When they do leave, they leave behind a warranty that is there for life. Even if you leave the house, the warranty stays. That's how confident they are at United Structural Systems about the work they do. And 25,000 satisfied customers are confident in the job they've done as well. You are not going to be disappointed. If you're having waterproofing issues, if you're noticing cracks in your foundation and you need some foundation help, or you're tired of staring at that sinkhole on your property, call USS today. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. Everything is online at USSTN.com.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a problem on I-40 eastbound in Lebanon. Looks like there is a stop and go for some reason. That's going to be in between 840 and Lebanon Highway. Taking the stand today in the former president's hush money trial is his former White House Communications Director, Hope Hicks. Catherine Falters has more on her likely testimony this afternoon.
There was that testimony from David Pecker that Hicks and another White House official at the time, this was Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who, as you remember, was Donald Trump's press secretary for a time, called him in March of 2018 to strategize about the National Enquirer's contract with Playboy model Karen McDougal. So we're going to hear about that 2018 incident.
Jim Ryan with Midday Money News.
The economy churned out 175,000 new jobs last month, well below the 240,000 economists were predicting, at about half the number of jobs created in March. Some analysts think the Fed may reconsider its decision to leave interest rates where they've been since last July. Hopes for a drop in rates had the Dow Jones 340 points higher going into the midday. The industrials were hovering around 38,565. The S&P was up nearly 0.9%. The Nasdaq was higher today by 1.6%.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand. I got to tell you about my friends at the Glock store. We are so excited. The open house is around the corner, Saturday, June 1st. This is a can't miss event. It's happening at the Glock store. It's their 4th annual open house, 10 to 2. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm going to be there. Murphy's going to be there. Mandis is going to be there. We want you there. The whole crew is going to be hanging out. And where else are you going to be able to go where they're going to be giving away over $10,000 worth of incredible prizes? And the prizes are nuts. I wish I could win some of these, but I work here, so I'm not allowed. I'm going to have to buy some of these. They have red dot optics. They have weapon lights with lasers from Nightstick, pistol and rifle bags from Savior. And the raffle list just keeps growing and growing. That's just the raffle. There's going to be competitions, too. The Nightstick low light, no light competition, that's back by popular demand. And there's going to be hourly prizes for the top score. Have you ever seen this competition? It's pretty cool. And the way the Glock store is set up, you're going to be able to see this. It's going to be fun. Also, there's going to be the Fast and Accurate competition. That's back as well. Top prize in the Fast and Accurate competition is going to be a Glock 19 dressed up to show your Tennessee pride. If you've been to the Glock store and you've seen their custom Glocks, you can imagine how beautiful this thing is. And if you aren't up to the task of winning a shooting competition yet, I would recommend you sign up for some training because you'll be up to the task of winning very shortly if you train with the Glock store. But if you're not up yet, just enter to win a Glock store customized Glock worth $1,700. And you only need to be there to enter. You don't even have to be there to win. So stop by, even if it's for 5 minutes, and register to win that customized Glock worth $1,700. Plus, the whole squad will be there. Myself, Mandis, Murphy. We need you there June 1st, 10 to 2 at the one and only Glock store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially on June 1st. let's get you a tutor and learn some languages. You know what I mean? 11:39 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm joined in studio by my finance guy, Paul Winkler. What's up, Paul?
Hey, man, I am living the dream. How you doing?
Are you ready?
I'm excited.
Are you ready for today?
I am ready for you.
All right, perfect.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's ever true. Mac, I don't know. What did we get? What did we get into?
All right, so people have been asking me questions.
Yes.
And I don't have the best answers.
And I might not either, but we'll give it a shot.
So let me just say a couple words, and let's do word association.
Oh,
do you want to do that?
Oh no, I'm not that good at that. But
let's have some fun.
Oh, well, go ahead. All right.
BRICS nations.
Failed investment. That was something that was really, really popular. Those particular countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, you had those particular countries were really hot for a short period of time. And one of the biggest mistakes investors make is they go, oh man, this is doing really, really well. I gotta buy it. And what do we know about investing? Buy low, sell high. You're buying high. You're buying after the horse has gotten out of the barn. So you're chasing something. And that is one of the most common mistakes people make is that. But they're thinking, oh, they're going to take over the world, though, with all the population, right?
And that's what people are saying. And then they worry, what does that do to our financial system?
Do you trust them? Do you trust any of those countries? No. Are any of them successful? Are any of them like, wow, these guys are really doing well? Now, 60% of the value of companies worldwide, based on value, are U.S. companies.
Wow. Okay.
Come on, man. We're not doing that bad.
So BRICS nations don't make you nervous at all?
No, they don't make me. It's kind of a running joke that we're going to go to the Chinese currency as a world reserve currency when it was Romney's not that long ago saying they're currency manipulators. That's what they're going to do. They're just going to manipulate the currency. And that's true. If you're buying anything, no matter what it is, if you know that somebody can manipulate the value of it, does that make you want to go buy it? No way, dude. I don't want any part of that.
So you don't...
So nobody trusts them.
It just doesn't strike any fear into you?
Nah.
What about the petrodollar and losing kind of like our status as the reserve world currency?
Well, that's highly, highly unlikely. It's not... Nobody's really talking about that seriously, losing that particular status. Now, when we talk about investing, though, let's just go and talk about investing in general, because that's what people typically worry about is, what if we do this? What's it going to do to markets? How are things going to do?
Yeah.
If we go to a different currency, let's say, are you going to, being a radio host, keep accepting the old currency that has gone away? I mean, do we accept like shells anymore or, wampum anymore? Or, no, we don't touch any of the junk anymore because it didn't have purchasing power.
I pay Mac and shells.
I knew it. I knew there was some reason he looked like he was in a bad mood today.
Yeah. I told him they're going to be worth something someday. So
you fell for that? Oh, man.
So, all right. So you're not worried about BRICS nations. You're not worried about losing the status as of the petrodollar. What about a gold-backed currency? I always get these questions that we've really come into trouble after we stopped having gold back our currency.
It's funny. You look back at all of human history. How long have humans been on the face of the planet? I don't know. Thousands of years, right?
Yep.
And we look at how long we were on a gold standard, 50. I mean, it's like, we can't make it without this, the gold standard. And the problem with the gold standard, this is really where it gets weird, because you got a lot of people that get into conspiracies about things. And you look at psychology, because people say, Paul, why did you go and get a degree in psychology along with all your finance degrees? Why did you do that? I needed.
Yeah.
I needed, not for myself, but for these types of things. It's really hard to help people not worry about money and relax about it and kind of have a sense of ease about it, because there are so many things that can scare us. And anxiety in general is trying to fill this place called the future with some kind of an answer on what's going to happen. And we never make up a story that's nice and great and makes me feel good. We always make up a big, hairy, bad thing that's going to happen that scares us. And it's like we almost love being in that fearful condition. But, you look at like the gold standard and say, well, how do we get people off of this? And one psychological study showed that if you try to convince somebody that their conspiracy is not true and it doesn't work, what will happen is they will dig their heels in even deeper. And you think about, well, why is that the case? It's because so many times these things are so stinking complex. And economics, the dismal science, as we call it, is so stinking complex that it's hard to get people off of whatever they believe, right? And what happens with people is they dig their heels in. And I tell people, if I try to explain you out of this, you'll probably dig your heels in deeper because it's really complicated. It'd be like me explaining to you velocity of money. And the gold standard screws up the velocity of money. And you look at what the heck is that? What is that? The velocity of money is the idea is that when you put a deposit in the bank, let's say, Chris, you go throw in $100,000 in the bank. They're going to hold a reserve requirement. They're going to hold 10 grand. Remember, it's a wonderful life. Your money's not in this bank. It's over in Joe's house, right? They're going to hold $10,000 out and they're going to lend out 90. So that money's going to flow through the economy and maybe 80 of it ends up back in the banking system. They'll take 8 of that and hold it in reserves. They'll lend the other 72 out. It'll flow through the economy. Maybe 60 ends up back in. They're going to hold 6,000, 10% of that. They're going to take the other 54,000 lend. That happens on average about 7 to 8 times on average. And the reason it works is because that velocity of money creates economic activity. The problem with gold is it's finite. And we only have a finite source of it. So velocity of money can't happen. And if you look at what happens is if you slow down velocity of money, economic collapse, economic problems, slowdowns. And what happens when the economy gets really bad with human behavior? Is it good or is it bad?
Bad.
It's really bad. So you're looking at the possibility of chaos, unrest, wars. You know, you look at every bank around every central bank around the world, none of them are on the gold standard. But not one of them.
A lot of people point at what you're saying about how they lend out money. That's fractional reserve banking.
Yeah, fractional reserve banking.
And they say that that's a bad thing.
Why?
They say because it's basically printing money, essentially.
So inflationary.
Yeah. Do you tell me? But
it has been.
You tell me, because I'm not an expert.
And a little bit of inflation is good for everybody. And you go, well, why? Why is it good for everybody? Well, if we have deflation, then what happens is people will wait and they'll say, I'm going to buy that thing next year because it's going to be cheaper next year. If I wait till next year, then the company doesn't make the thing this year, they make it next year. If they don't make it till next year, then the tax money doesn't come in. The government, the companies, the people who work for those companies, everybody is not as good off if that happens. But if we look at that and say, well, a little bit of inflation, has it been really bad? I mean, gosh, workers' wages haven't been keeping up. Did you know that if you look back 50 years, the average American lives in a house that is 1,000 square feet bigger than it was back in the 1970s? We're not doing that bad. Our standard of living, I lived through the 70s. I lived through the 60s. And I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to that standard of living. I look at what we're doing, where we've come, and how far we've come, and it's not bad. And the other thing, do you know that that 50% of the supply of the world's supply of gold has been mined since 1971?
Really?
Yeah. And you go, whoa, wait. What happens is if the price goes up a lot, we mine for more of it. And the problem is that you have all of the problems with mining for more. But a lot of people don't know little statistics like this. And that's what keeps people in conspiracies is they're missing little pieces of the puzzle that would make it make sense to them.
Got you. Dan in Huntland has a question on precious metals for you. Dan, you're on Super Talk with Paul Winkler. What's up, Dan?
Dan.
This is Steve. I'm his twin brother.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah. That's why. Anyway, hey, Paul, I've got some money set aside, and I was thinking about doing some precious metals, especially silver, but I'm talking about to have actually in possession. About 10% of the entire, say portfolio. Does that sound like an agreeable arrangement?
Yeah, man. I'm not a fan of any of that. And the reason being that we look at precious metals and we go, well, what is historic? Let's use gold, for example. 100 years ago, you could buy a good men's suit for an ounce of gold. Today, you could buy a good men's suit for an ounce of gold. If you look at gold's correlation with inflation, do they go up and down together? Think bathing suit sales and suntan oil sales. Do they go up and down together? Are they actually in concert with each other? And the answer is no. They have no correlation with each other. The worst inflation we ever had in the country, really, in the 1980s, early 80s, we had a lot of inflation, and gold actually went down in value.
Really?
Yeah. So you look at that and go, wow, is it a good investment? The problem with gold as an investment, silver as an investment, anything as an investment, it only goes up when there's more demand for it. If you can actually create more of it, mine for more, like I just said, 50% of the supply has actually been mined since 1971. It actually bodes very poorly for that as an investment. And it's not correlated. It doesn't do what they say it does in the commercials. And it can drop precipitously in value. High standard deviation, high level of ups and downs. Think roller coaster, and not correlated with inflation like we think it is.
Interesting. Tony has a question about credit card companies for you.
Yeah.
Tony, you're on Super Talk. What's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
The ad is for one of those we'll get you out of debt people.
Mm-hmm.
A guy says he owes, I forget what it was, $30,000. And he says, if I just paid the minimum payments, it would take me 35 years to get out of debt.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The question is, if you're paying minimum payments, you can never eliminate that debt. Is that right?
Well, if you're putting a little bit, you're paying the interest plus a little bit of the principal, yeah, you do eventually eliminate it. But it takes a long time because the interest rate is still so stinking high. So that is why when you amortize those things, you do see that it's typically 35 years before you're out of debt, because you're just barely paying more than what the interest charge is on it. And then you're getting into the principal and reducing that. That's why they always say that mortgages in your first years, you're paying so much in interest and very little of principal at that point in time, because what they do is they take the interest rate times the amount of money owed. And, if it's $300,000 and you got 7% interest rate, well, there you go, $21,000 in interest, and your payment may just be a little bit over $21,000 per year. But that's why it goes down so slowly.
Interesting. All right, we got time for one more question.
All right.
Did they sink the Titanic to create the Federal Reserve?
Oh, of course they did. Of course they did. I mean, isn't that obvious? I mean, I've heard that. I've heard that the people that created the Federal Reserve, that they were on there, and that we had to sink the Titanic because the people that were against the Federal Reserve, that makes perfect sense. I'm just thinking, isn't there an easier way to take somebody out than put them on a ship and try to sink it with an iceberg? I don't know.
This is true. But you heard it here first from Paul Winkler. They sunk the Titanic to create the Federal Reserve.
No, you did not hear that.
You heard it here first. It's 11:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We understand that prices, again, are too low.
Dude, I felt like Taylor rocked that shit. That was like such a palette changer. I kind of second guessed myself this morning as I'm driving in. I was just worried, if he's not as good as he looks on social media. I think that was my biggest fear. Yeah. But I felt like he came in and crushed. Yeah. I'm sorry, dude. I just let him. I'm like, later, dude. Well, it's just 2 turns. At least he's walking around with a guitar. He looks like he belongs here. Yeah. Figure it out. Do breadcrumbs. They should have done breadcrumbs. I feel like I don't like. I'm not taking orders from you. Dumb tattoo. Yeah, got them all when I was like 18. And I regret every single one of them. I like one of them, my cousin that passed away, but I got it from a guy that just wasn't. You know what I mean? It's one of my biggest regrets. Like, why? Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. 11:56 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy was in here a second ago. He came in, he put his things down, and then he looks at me and he says, "Stand by," and he leaves.
And then he came in here right after.
He can't. Did he tell you
he said,
to stand
"I hope
by?"
Chris is free till 3. He just left. I don't know, man.
Thanks to Paul Winkler for coming by. I appreciate Paul as always.
Love Paul.
And thanks again to Taylor Goyette, who was awesome.
Yeah, what a beast.
He rocked that. He's on Instagram at Taylor Goyette Music.
And that's Goyette.
Yes. He is so talented. I couldn't have been more impressed with Taylor.
Agreed.
He rocked it. That American Girl song.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not going to officially be out until September. I'm like, what are you doing?
You're like, dude, come on.
Put that out today. Put that out today. Did you hear the musician I had in earlier?
Are we on?
We are.
Why did I not get the memo? Where was the notice?
You told us to stand by. You told us to stand by.
And then let me just notify, you'll be going on around 12:05. Are you good for that, or?
Well, I thought Hand had my show.
Oh,
today.
see, I told you, Chris. He said, "Are you free till 3?"
I'm not.
Newsflash.
I'm not doing favors for people that do favors for me.
I remembered something about the a little bit of the inside baseball into what we do.
Yeah.
You know, you have your different shifts.
Yes.
Have you done all of them?
I have not.
I mean, not as a talk show host, but as a radio guy?
As a radio guy, yeah. I hosted mornings in Pittsburgh. I did a night show and an afternoon show. I'm doing middays now. I even did overnight. I did overnights. I might have been one of the last music people to do overnights ever.
My goodness gracious. You probably were. I remember doing overnights. It was a lot of automation, but I remember overnights. I've done every shift imaginable.
I did overnights in Detroit, but it was cool because there was actually a lot of people listening, the third shifters over at the auto plants. So I would get a lot of people calling in, and I got to play. It was actually a cool moment to play new Eminem in Detroit. I was one of the first people to play a new Eminem song in Detroit.
That's pretty good.
Like, that was cool.
Because it's not only pop and I mean, this is where it all began.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I'm assuming you've been down 8 Mile.
I've been down 8 Mile.
Whoa,
I've been to
nice.
St. Andrews Hall. I've done everything in that city.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's where Kennedy was born. Outside
John
of
F.
Detroit.
Kennedy was born in Detroit.
He was. She was born. She was born,
That's
and
the first thing I thought. I'm such an idiot.
When she was born, it was -30.
Oh, nice.
And when we brought her home, it was 30 degrees, and it was the warmest 30 degrees you ever felt. That I had the windows down, and Virginia was yelling at me. She's like,
newborn
she's like,
child.
we have a newborn in the back. And I was like, but it's so nice out.
Time to learn some self-reliance.
you live in the tundra when 30 degrees is just like, whew,
If
put on
she's
some shorts.
cold, she needs to speak up.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming up, I'm going to relate to you the road rage incident that almost was on our highways moments ago on I-40.
And how you caused it?
I did not. I was a passive bystander.
All right.
All right.
That's coming up on Murphy's Show. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk.